are quite good. Attack warning.
Is it for real?
Attack warning. It's for bloody real.
Live from Colorado Springs, the Drop Culture Podcast.
Want to confirm, is this an exercise? Roger, copy. This is not an exercise.
Come on, quick, get down!
1, 2, 3.
Welcome, everybody, to the Dropped Culture Podcast. This is that podcast where we pick up that piece of pop culture you forgot about or missed, shine it up real nice, and cram it in your ear holes. I'm Dan.
I'm Brock.
And this episode is brought to you by Circus Meat. Welcome to the big top, baby.
Welcome to the big top. Circus Meat.
That's right. Just look it up. Hashtag Circus Meat.
Yes. So we have rounded the corner on our journey through the Apes planets.
Yes, the mini planets of the apes.
The time conversions, the fucking theories, and baby chimpanzees and
Ricardo Montalban.
Fucking,
On multiple occasions.
I know, right? He
Welcome.
just pops in, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in a total fucking cool way. We have this fucking well drawn out. It seems like it's well drawn out. It seems like it was very, very thought out.
But it was thought out on the fly.
Yes.
That what they had the advantage of is unlike movies nowadays, right? I shouldn't say that because it depends on what you're doing. But they were turning over a movie every year.
Yeah.
So the continuity should have been pretty fucking easy to do.
Right. They didn't need a breakdown in this one.
Yeah.
This one was like a wrap up.
Right.
It was the one big long wrap up, and you're like, all right, this should be the best because this is the finality. This should be the Avengers Endgame.
Yes.
For back then.
Yes.
That's what it should have been. No fucking way. Because it was the end of such a fucking big franchise that people had really made into the success that they were because they were number one every time that they were released.
Yeah.
The first weekend, they were number one at the box office every time. So people still did like it in some way.
Yeah, of course.
People did go ape. And then, of course, people couldn't get enough of it because after this is over with, then Roddy McDowall comes back for the TV show.
Right.
And then they have the fucking cartoon.
But the TV show did shit.
Oh, yeah. TV show was Dukes of Hazzard on Planet of the Apes. For real. No shit. There's a dark-haired guy. There was
I
a
know
bow and
that there
Luke.
was a show. I do not remember ever seeing the show.
Oh, dude. Everything about Starsky and Hutch mixed with fucking...
Really?
Yeah, dude. It's fucking awesome.
I'm excited. Okay, but we should get back. So what
Yes.
are we talking about today, Brock?
Can I turn this up?
Yeah, you can do whatever you want, brother.
Oh, yeah. I like it. That's better.
Welcome to your studio.
Yeah.
You can do whatever you want here.
So now we are on Battle for the Planet of the Apes. The final confrontation between simians and fucking humans after the bombs have dropped. Because the last episode, it was basically conquest. So this was the rise to power from the apes. Now, they took all the power, and we come to find out that they bombed. Instead of conceding, the humans were like, fuck you, in their arrogance, and decided to destroy everything instead of give control over to the simians. Or at least treat them equally.
Equally, which is really what they wanted.
That's all they wanted. I mean, come
But
on. No.
society goes round, as we see here.
Same fucking thing. Same shit, different day.
Same shit, different species.
It's supposed to be such a dramatic rise on this part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it fails to me.
Yeah, this was, we were talking beforehand, this was the worst out of the movies, in my opinion. There were some ideas in there that were kind of neat, I guess. Overall, I know people shit on the second movie. I actually found that kind of just fun for what it was. It was like a popcorn Planet of the Apes movie, right?
Money. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even that though. I mean, there was at least something, you know.
Oh yeah, no. It had substance. It kept it going.
It kept enough substance in it that they could build off of later.
Right.
And had they chosen to do that differently, that could have gone. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that was something you could have built off of.
Right.
And you did to an extent.
Yeah.
But I liked that movie for what it was, and this movie, I will not watch again. I will not. I mean,
Well,
no.
see, every series, and especially a series that has 5 volumes, 6 volumes, 7 volumes, has to have a worst.
Yeah.
The worst one has to. Everybody's got to have the best and the worst. I mean, it's just part of it. You know, one more people enjoy. This one,
some have like a bunch of shitty ones.
Yeah, this one was made for
Fast and the Furious, everything after 3, maybe.
Dude, I might go down that rabbit hole.
Tokyo Drift 2? No, 3. Yeah, 2 was the one where they were in Miami.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
we'll
that's when we get
back. Luda.
Yeah, and then it becomes, how can I get this vehicle on water, ice, air, outer space,
Mars, family. We live on Mars now.
Family in space. Anyway, so that's not the movies we're talking about today. But you're right. Every series does have a worst. This is it.
It's not my. This one just really. It reminds me of a kung fu movie from back in the day. It's like a Shaw Brothers film in the way that it looks, in the scope of it, but yet trying to use all the trickery because they have like a bus, a fucking tractor, and a couple of Willis Jeeps, right?
Yeah,
and motorcycles when they come attack. But they're doing like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah. Well.
So I'm thinking, is it the radiation that is killing the fucking electronics? And these dudes are all like, they're like fucking zombies and
They're
shit.
the slow mutants.
Yeah, but they only blow up one building in Ape City. You know, they don't have no budget. So they're using this recycled kind of world, and it looks like a.
Didn't they only make this for like 5.1 million or something?
It was like one.
Was
1.7.
Really? Yeah, maybe I'm thinking of the wrong movie.
Yeah. No, the budget was 1.7 and it made 8.8.
Okay.
So I mean, it was fucking
Still
yeah.
money.
And this is the last kind of gasp on the silver screen until we see Tim Burton's. This one I really think had
Holy fuck, I just realized we have 4 more Ape movies.
we don't have to do the other ones. We all know that the Tim Burton one, it was cool. If you're an Ape head, you're gonna like it.
And I don't remember hating it or liking it. Like it was just, it was what it was. Okay, great.
It was kind of at the time when Chris Christopherson was kind of his last couple of days in Hollywood. Yeah.
His Whistler days.
And fucking that right there. That I always think of him. I'm like,
I think of
man.
Whistler, Blade Trinity.
Yes. God damn you motherfucking zombies. Fucking sons of bitches. But
also wrote one of Janis Joplin's most famous songs.
Dude, he was fucking. Chris Christopherson was badass.
Mega talented.
Sunday coming down. Somebody's cooking fried chicken. So easy. Anyway, Divergent.
Yes.
So this Apes movie
Back to the Apes
is like a made for TV movie.
Yeah.
It reminds me of like I said, the same feel of the Kung Fu movies, The Incredible Hulk. Even though this was in 1973?
Yeah.
So it was still early on.
Yeah.
This was before blaxploitation. This was before we got really nitty gritty. You know what I mean? This was kind of like the last bastion of the 60s, right?
Yeah.
When it came to these big over the top fucking movies, you could tell the makeup was better. Most of them. They had it down to a science.
It was better, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that overall, like, that stayed pretty steady, like, got better every movie.
Yeah.
To some degree.
Except for one crucial part at the very fucking end that they were like, oh, okay, we got it in one.
Yep.
No, you didn't.
Damn you.
No, the one fucking thing you should be known for, right? Which I think, the battle cry was pretty cool. That should have been the moment, but it gets overshadowed by the blob down at the bottom.
Yeah.
It just really does. Every time I see it, I'm like, God, couldn't they fix that now? Because I actually did think last night while I was watching this again, I was thinking, damn, wouldn't it be cool if you could go in there and like edit some of this shit, make
it better,
the sound better, because the sound design on this one too sucks. If you're listening on
I'll be
headphones,
honest, this not only does the sound, the music was terrible in this. I was like, if this keeps going, I'm just going to turn this off.
well, they
Like,
were,
and I
yeah.
barely, like, I'm not like Mr. Johnny Music snob. in
No,
a
no,
movie
no.
by any means, but like when it's annoying to me, like
Once you notice
that's an
it,
issue.
yes,
Yeah.
Once you notice it, and here recently, I've been noticing a lot more with everything, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
god
that's
damn,
terrible.
how did that get by? But when you listen to it from far away, like on a TV and not your headphones, then it's just fine because it's just
Sure.
made for that. But
Yeah, that's a fact in '73 for sure.
yeah, but I don't know. Yeah, it's overall, it was fucking thrown together.
Yeah,
It just seems like it's. Here you go. Here you get to wrap it up, guys.
How did John? I don't know where we're at in this little review, but how did John Huston become lawgiver? How did they talk him into that?
I don't know.
Like, hey, I'm a famous director and actor and like everything.
Yes, my
And I'm-
father is
like, I
fucking
am-
famous. My kids are famous.
I am the one that made every movie that you think's really good right now. You know,
Chinatown. But yeah, he's going to dip into a fucking
And play
low
a
budget Planet of the
lawgiver?
Apes. Yeah. I mean, nowadays I could see it being the thing to do.
Oh, yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like go on the Muppet Show.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
fact, dude,
Yes,
fact.
for real. Because even the dude that plays Virgil in this,
Mm-hmm.
he was really big with the Muppets. Big songwriter too.
Okay.
Has written a shitload of. I think he did most of the music for the fucking original one.
Oh.
Well, let's get into the cast.
Okay.
Or we'll start with the director, J. Lee Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
This is the same director.
Yeah.
He just came back and redid this one.
He was
It
like, oh, money, sure.
Yeah. Easy.
Easy money. Let's do it.
Let's
Make it a movie.
Yeah.
Got a year for it to come out.
Give me a script.
Give me 6 months. Let's go.
And the thing
6
too,
months.
I don't even know how long it took him to make this. That's something
I don't know,
I
yeah.
need to check next time. But like the writers, right?
Mm-hmm.
They came from the Omega Man because the Omega Man was such a big deal at that time too. Because Soylent Green, Omega Man, both of those movies right there after Planet of the Apes for Heston, that's like a science fiction trilogy. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like the late 60s to the early 70s, and that point where he was doing these really funky, weird sci-fi joints. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it's cool as shit.
Well, this movie was doomed from the beginning with the writers because Paul Dinn they brought him in to do it. He was going to do it. And
got
then
sick.
he got sick, so he had to bounce. And these two came in
Yeah.
and made this fucking movie.
Well, no. But here's the thing too. He got to come back at the end of it. And it says in the shit that I've read that he rewrote 90% of the script.
Really?
Yeah. 90% of I think maybe the dialogue.
Oh, okay.
Something like that. I know it was a major, major deal. Yeah. So they only gave him a story credit
Okay.
on this one instead of screenwriter credit
Sure.
because he just talked shit about their writing. But come on, think about it. This is your baby, right?
Yeah, for sure.
And you get sick and you're thinking, okay, I'm going to hand it over to these people because they've actually done pretty good. And you get back and you're like, that's not right. He didn't have to be a dick and talk shit to him. You know, he could have
Right.
been like, it's not my apes. You know what I mean? But they were John William Corrington and Joyce Hooper Corrington. I don't know. But that's who they are. They'd never seen any Apes movies either. So how are you going to write a movie about an Apes movie without even seeing them? It's like you can't go get a
Yeah.
copy of it on VHS and be
Right.
like, oh, I need to catch up. No.
Well, you'd think if you were at the studio, they'd be like, come in here, watch these movies.
Yes.
Let's talk about it.
All in a row.
Let's talk about your vision for it. You know what? Why don't you sit on that for 3 days, come back, and we'll have another meeting about where you think we want to go with this.
Right. So I can see it being shitty.
Yeah.
I can see coming in
They're
and being
"Here,
like,
come in here, write this.
no. And then the dude's like, oh, thank God, I get to go back and see. And then he's like, no. And then they fuck him over. But
But their ending was different for the
Yeah.
movie. And I kind of like the idea of their ending. So, like, the ending we got was the statue of Caesar with a little tear coming down the eye.
Caesar wept.
Yes.
Caesar wept.
With the Jesus ape.
Didn't eat it.
No. But that's what Den put in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like the idea they had of human and ape children fighting on a playground.
Yeah.
At the end.
Yeah. They kind of had that in there a little
Like
bit.
they had that one thing with the two kids.
Yeah, the one ape like rips the fucking little girl's brain, like yoink, and she's like "fuck you," bam. But it was fucking yeah, exactly. So you have these two kind of opposing, and it was supposed to be the unity of it anyway,
right,
in both of them. But it's just like I don't know.
Yeah, but I see like what if we would have seen their vision. And what if we would have got to see 100% Paul Denn's vision? You see what I'm saying?
Right,
where
right,
I think
right.
anytime you get like Joss Whedon,
coming
to
completely,
take over Zack Snyder's, Justice League,
right?
What? That's a whole different fucking movie. You know what I mean?
That's two different people. Yeah.
What if Joss Whedon would have been making it from the beginning? What
Right.
if Zack Snyder completed the movie? Obviously,
yeah,
he had
exactly.
reasons why he couldn't. I'm not.
Yeah. No. But I see what you're saying because that is something that puts it into perspective to something that we've seen here recently. So that does make sense.
Yeah.
Completely 100%. Whenever, if anybody kind of messes with something that you have been involved in, you love it. It's not going to be right compared until you really get your hands on it, and especially as a writer standpoint too. And you're like, this is legacy.
I think if you really want to succeed, and this is a little off tangent, I apologize.
Wow, that's a good one. I heard that like it was vibrating the floor. My shoe was like.
Apparently, I am now Dragonborn. But
talk about
I think if you want to succeed, this is a little off tangent from what we're talking about. It's best to have 3 to 4 people that are very, and maybe even 2 to 3 people who are very passionate about the project.
The whole
and
way.
have the same kind of vision when they meet, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is, I see this and you see this, this is perfect. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you get those 3 people that are that passionate. They have to be talented too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And yeah,
you get talented, passionate people about a project.
Yeah.
Then you get to make a good movie. You know what I mean? Like
you get to enjoy it.
And
Why
it doesn't
do they
matter
have to...
if like, and you don't have to have like, all I need is like, let's say I had a, I don't know, pick a director.
Kubrick?
No, nobody that crazy. Somebody like current that you're like, I don't know, like Matt Reeves.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I have Matt Reeves, and he's going to make this movie for me. And I have this writer, who we both agree is a phenomenal writer, working on the story.
Right.
This third person, let's say, I don't know what they do. They're a producer that wants to be involved, and they have a passion for it, and that, let's say he doesn't have to be like the biggest big time person, right? But or the director doesn't have to be the biggest director. Just has to have some like level.
If they're all together, yeah.
It's the skill of the unit, right?
Yes. This is what I'm thinking. Like you're saying, you have this, and this will be the only thing I say about it. But
you can say whatever you want to say.
Okay.
We're on a podcast.
I didn't want to keep going.
Oh yeah, because we have
tangent.
We're doing apes. Yeah.
Yeah. but if you so you say you have the writer, right? You have the director. You have a producer. You have the DOP.
Yeah, DOP would be a great one. Yeah.
Those 4 interconnecting things, if everybody was on the same page,
right,
would be fucking wonderful.
But I'm saying you do that before you ever.
Before you get started.
But put more effort into that, right? Yeah. Of getting those people who are on the same page, talented, and have shown some stability of some sort. Not all of them have to, but, 3/4 of them? Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, but then you think about the directors that do it all themselves. You understand why.
Of course.
Holy shit, I got total control over everything.
I think of it like this. Like if I'm like putting a movie together, I'm going to find a solid director. Solid director in the vein of the movie I want to do. Like everybody's got a tone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You see something
and some
and you're
people
like,
can do
work.
multiple tones. You
Right.
know what I mean? And you're like, okay, this person has talent in multiple areas.
Right. But you got to push them
But that
too.
person would have to be solid. Have some solid background. They've done 1 or 2 movies. Like maybe they did
indie film or something to get them on board. They made a couple major movies that, whether they did well, were done well.
But you saw glimpses of it that you're like, I get that.
So
right
I could
there.
get that guy, right? And I get a producer who's like not Spielberg, but you know,
Can make shit
you
happen.
could make a good producer, like a really good producer. And you could balance either one of those things together. The director could be really, really good, and the producer could be meh,
Right.
because he's just going to do whatever fucking director tells him. I mean, there's a balance there, right?
Yes.
And then that writer, the DOP, you want him to be good and be on board.
The DOP
You know what I
would
mean?
be the one that would be like, okay, what's your vision?
Right, right.
What do you see in this?
But that would give an opportunity for writers outside of Hollywood to get involved.
Yeah.
more.
Yeah.
Because if that's the lesser person in that quadrant, that's okay.
Yeah.
Because they're the creator, right?
Yeah, because I think, writers don't get enough of anything. I guess that's what they're doing right now with all the SAG or MAFTA or MARFA or whatever it is. But yeah, I don't think they're getting a lot of that credit. So they kind of get shit on anyway, like animators and voice actors and shit like that. So there's a definite inequality with that, but it would be nice.
So I'm kind of taking it the other way, though, because as a studio, if I did that for every movie, not every movie, but like let's say
you'd have
you're
great
still going to do
movies.
your shit. You're just going to push out, I guess. I don't know if that's like part of the status quo. That's a tax write-off. I don't know. But the ones you care about, you do that. And you're paying first-time writers, first-time creators. So your budget is lower than it is going to be for someone who's already done,
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's got a nomination.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
You're like, holy
Or,
shit, yeah.
They're in the zeitgeist.
But
you know what I
imagine
mean?
if you had everybody firing on all cylinders in one central idea, but just really, really like caring about it and not like half-assing it. And I don't think anybody half-asses it on any of these visions and shit like that we're talking about. But
I think a lot of times they have to play on the field they're given.
Yep.
So it's not always easy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But seeing how these people came in, bring it back to the Apes, to come in to write something, even though they were already writing in a weird genre like that anyway.
Right.
But they couldn't do it because it was unattainable to them because they weren't paying attention.
Right. They were busy making their own shit.
Yeah. They were busy doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Then who else would at that time? I don't even know who would have been, taken over for them anyway. Because their movies were doing pretty good.
Yeah.
So, Omega Man, come on.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. What a fucking movie. Fucking badass.
Agreed.
It's no rollerball, but yeah, it is. Okay. So now we get into the actors.
Yeah. Sorry, that was a big diversion.
Yes. But, so, honestly, Roddy McDowall and Natalie Trundy, they've been in 4 of the 5 Apes movies combined. This is the second time we had a villain come back.
Yes.
Besides Zaius, really the characters, I think the people that they used to act in this actually did bring it above a certain level, because all of these people were very, very good actors in their own right with everything that they did, but they were just kind of handed like a pile of porridge.
So I will tell you that I watched this movie without looking into it at all. I've been doing that with each movie.
Right.
And then I'll read up, and then I'll watch it again.
Right.
The first time I watched this, I knew Claude Akins was in this. And I didn't know Claude Akins was in this, but I'm like, it's that dude. You know what I mean? I was like, how is that?
Exactly. Yeah.
How do you look so much like your monkey self?
Right. So you got Claude Akins, Roddy McDowall, fucking John Huston.
Yeah, John Huston. How the hell did they get him?
Lou Ayres.
Well, how does John Huston get involved in this? Right. Like, is he like, hey, I really like the Apes. I want to be part of the Apes.
It was a friend?
Maybe. Yeah.
Maybe he
they were
needed
talking
a new
about
car?
it at a party.
Yeah, maybe he
Over
needed
drinks,
a car and shit.
It's like, I'll buy you that Mercedes.
Yeah. You want a Ferrari?
Rolls Royce?
Yeah.
On its way, bro.
Just got to put on the mask,
That's
man.
right. Become lawgiver.
Because the lawgiver was the shit too. But you could tell that he needed a little bit more time in the makeup.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't emoting the same way that everybody else was, and Claude Akins doesn't either. But when you watch,
maybe that's why, because Claude Akins doesn't emote, like it just was
It's just
formed
like,
around
"Whoa."
his face. you know?
And it was like, just put it on him, make him fucking bend over and be like, oh, let me show you. Let me show you how. But fucking badass dude. Once you realize who it is too, you're like, holy shit, man, that dude is fucking badass.
Yeah, like he was in a ton of shit for sure.
From Here to Eternity, that was his first screen credit. He was on The Adventures of Superman, Rio Bravo, Inherit the Wind. Good God, the dude's been on all kinds of shit.
All
right?
the things.
Yeah, and then
What was the TV show in the 80s he was on? It was like BJ McKay or something.
BJ and the Bear? No,
I don't know. He was a sheriff. He got his own show.
Oh, yeah.
Lobo was his name.
Oh shit.
It was the 80s thing, I think. Anyways, doesn't matter.
Anyway,
Doesn't matter.
yeah. Returning as
The Claude Aiken show.
yeah, the Claude Aiken show. The Claude Aiken show. It says nothing about Claude Aiken. So then Severn Darden, again, he is Culp or whatever. He's the main bad guy. He's the funny bad guy. And he was in Real Genius, and I'm trying to place him in Real Genius. He was, of course, he wears glasses, and I kind of get him confused with the teacher from fucking the Water Boy. You know what I mean? But it's not the same dude.
No.
But but he's been in a lot of shit too. I mean, all of these people were major studio actors. So they were acting in all of the TV shows that these people were producing and everything like that. All the way back to this original series, which I've never seen. It's called like Naked City. I mentioned it a couple of episodes ago, but I don't really know too much about it. But it's like everybody that you see that's been in any kind of action, crime, drama, anything like that, all started there. Yeah. So it was like a crime Twilight Zone.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm taking from it. So I could be completely wrong. But then
I don't remember who he was in Real Genius. Dr. Meredith.
Yeah, he was.
One of the doctors.
Yeah.
He could have been the guy. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Those were ancillary people in my mind when I watched that movie so many times.
Because there's only like,
Val Kilmer and the kid with the braces and Ed Begley Jr. And the guy that slept in the secret room.
Oh, yeah. Ed Begley. Yeah. The guy on the couch.
Yes.
So then we got Lou Ayres, right?
Yeah.
He did, he was on All Quiet on the Western Front. Supposedly that's a very big anti-war movie that came out in the 20s, against war.
Yeah.
So he took a lot from it, right? And he became a conscientious objector to the actual World War II, even though he was in the war too. He actually served.
Okay. Well, I don't think that's uncommon in soldiers.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Even World War II, he was like a real lifeline from G.I. Joe. You know what I mean?
Right.
I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I think it's pretty cool. But he was the one that's in charge of the armory. You know,
okay.
He's Caesar's conscience.
Yeah.
Which I thought that was fucking a great line too.
Yeah.
It's like, what did he say? Like, 100 times bigger than our armory, and then Virgil's like, and no conscience to guide it.
Yep.
You're like, holy shit.
Yep.
Fuck you.
You got me.
He was also on The Omen too. Of course, John Huston, Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I'm on another one of those kicks, and I've watched it probably once a week in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
Okay.
Man, I love that movie. So fucking good. Oh, and then of course, Chinatown, Misfits, African Queen. Paul Williams, Virgil. His character in this one is really cool. Very rational, and
you forgot to say the Maltese Falcon, by the way. That's probably one of the bigger.
That was the
ones.
first one. That's the first Bogart one. Yeah,
it's kind of a big movie.
It's the stuff that dreams are made of.
Nice.
So you got Virgil. Everybody knows Virgil.
Of course.
They've seen him in all the different things. Mainly the Muppets. We know him.
Yeah.
He's also he's a big sound dude and does a lot of the music for a lot of shit. But he's also a big voice actor.
Okay.
He the Penguin on Batman the Animated Series. That's him.
Oh, nice.
And he's Brainiac on Superman Red Sun.
Okay.
And yeah, he was on all kinds of shit. So, but then you got McDonald, right? This is not the same McDonald, because the McDonald in the movie before,
it's his son, right?
It's his brother.
Brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this McDonald worked in the archive, and the other McDonald worked in ape management.
Yeah.
He was the assistant to the governor, pretty much.
Right.
So that's because the other dude didn't want to come back.
Right.
So they got this dude, but this guy is on one of the fucking pretty cool movies too, Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
So I mean, back in the day, you're talking some JC shit. He was also on fucking The Incredible Hulk, Sheba Baby, because he did a lot of blaxploitation back in the day. That was a excuse me, god damn it. That was you should see the waveforms on it. I'll have to get that one. But yeah, he did Pam Grier, a whole bunch of her movies and shit like that. Yeah, and then the teacher Noah Keane, he was on the Sopranos.
Okay.
But his very first movie that he did, he was a TV director, was A Face in the Crowd with Andy Griffith.
Okay. Nice. Nice.
That was the first screen credit that he had. I'm like, holy shit.
That's pretty amazing.
Right. And then you got Richard Eastman. He's the mutant captain. He was in That Darn Cat from 1965.
Awesome.
I don't want to like geek out on this, but this is like one of the coolest things about this movie. There are so many Falcon Crest alumni in it. There are so many. I'm like, oh, I need to find the Falcon Crest series and watch it.
Do you though?
Yes. Somebody needs to keep that alive.
And it's you.
I should be the Falcon Crest biologist.
That sounds great.
Episode 1, Season 1. Synopsis. The Falcon Crest podcast. Holy shit. There's an idea.
Dude. Let's go.
There's at least 4 people that remember it.
I bet our wives would do that with us.
Yeah, they could be on the show with us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then the other woman in the underground, Alma, it's France Yin. I don't know. She was on Star Trek.
Okay.
The original series. Every other TV show that you could think of too. She was on Falcon Crest. The Joy Luck Club tells you the caliber where she's at, what she chose. And then you got Mendez, played by Paul Stevens. He was the first human to stay underground, like we were kind of mentioning earlier. Yeah. And in his acting career was just all Mission Impossible, all that shit like that. So
right.
It makes sense. Right.
Yep.
John Landis is in this fucking movie.
I saw that.
I looked for him.
Did you find him?
Every fucking time, and I
don't know where he's at.
He might have been in a cut scene or some shit like that, and I'm like, oh, fucking
could have
murderer.
been in an ape suit.
Yeah. I'm like, you fucking murderer. Son of a bitch.
Good director.
Yes. Great director. American Werewolf in London.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So
Did
now
he murder some people? Probably.
Yeah. Stupidly.
Yeah.
But now we're at the movie.
Yeah.
So what did you expect coming off of Conquest when you started this the first time?
I only knew that it was a direct sequel, like it just like followed that storyline. And I think that was just what I inferred from when you and I spoke, you know what I mean? So I just expected it to progress somewhere past. I didn't think it would be so far past.
Oh, okay.
Like I thought it would be like right after.
Oh, okay.
But it was not, and that was fine.
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't give a shit.
Don't really care.
So it took me a minute to kind of figure out where we were, because you have the guy talking in the future that's not quite as far in the future as like where the original apes came from, like 1,000 years off or
39, 50
something. But it's like 29 something.
2670.
2670, yeah, whatever. So that's where you start, and he's like talking to some folks.
Right.
Do we see who he's talking to at that time?
Well,
or did I just infer that we did because I saw it at the end?
Yeah, it's the illusion that he's kind of talking to us.
Yeah,
to tell the story of the apes. But
we didn't see the other people, right?
Not at first.
Not until the
they just kind of show the lawgiver, and then he starts talking about what has happened from Escape.
Right,
he starts at Escape.
Yeah.
And
and then he kind of they kind of patchworked the story through there with some footage
Right.
too, which is cool.
And
you
I
know?
think that is a good way to start. I think that would be a good way to watch this in like hatchet order.
Yeah.
Is to start with that, and just kind of see how that flows. Start with fucking Escape
Right.
and end up at Beneath.
Okay.
Yeah, and you end with Beneath, and you're like, holy shit, they fucking destroyed everything. There's nothing left.
Right.
But
But they go back.
They go
What if
back.
it was different? Look, we'll get. I can't do this yet because we started on a time conversation, and I wanted to continue it, and that could be a whole different podcast.
yes,
Sorry.
but yeah, but like you were saying, it was a little bit further than you would think because how old do you think they were whenever they rebelled?
In 8 years,
20
I don't
something?
know. I don't know how do apes progress. Is it like that?
I don't know, but I think he was like 20 years old.
Okay, so yeah, let's say he's
Yeah.
20. So now he's 50.
He's 50 years old, has
He's
one
50-year-old
kid.
ape with one kid. Yeah,
Kid's how old? What do you think? 8, 9?
yeah,
No,
10 maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there. He's a fucking little asshole too.
Yeah.
He just seems like an entitled
Kinda.
little shit.
Right.
But
overall, a nice kid, like a little bit of brown noser.
right. But I mean, how else did you kind of perceive what you might see?
And again, I think it was just no expectation, just
Good.
that it was going to. Yeah,
That's cool.
I try to do that with any of these movies that I hadn't seen or I had
Right.
seen pieces of. Like, there's a piece in this movie where I remember seeing like 3 minutes of, and I was like, oh, that was the same movie.
Yes.
I had no idea.
Yeah.
I hadn't
Right,
seen that
right.
yet, and I was like, there was some reason I didn't watch that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I didn't.
Like, ooh, that was the one that they only put on once during Thanksgiving. They played Planet of the Apes, Beneath, fucking everything up until battle, and they're like, let's just do it once. I do want to edit a supercut for myself.
There you go.
And just
I think
mix in the
that's what-
titles.
I think that's what we should start. Well, first of all, I think you should be thankful for everything that you have all the time. So Thanksgiving's over.
Yes.
Okay. There's a lot of weird shit around that, like what was done and that time and all
Yeah.
the weird shit. So just get away with that. And we'll just make like Thanksaping Day.
Thanksapien.
And we'll like get all of our friends and family together and we'll watch the supercut of these movies that you put together.
Right.
Done.
Just a lot of libations,
Yes.
to get through it.
Absolutely.
I could make it.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Maybe
I'm
I
sure
could.
our wives are going to love this.
My wife she will fall asleep at the first 5 minutes of every movie. She's like, oh no, I've never seen it.
I think I told you before, my brother and we had that planned every time there was like a holiday. We'd be like, oh, everybody's like done eating. They're all tired. And then we'd be like, cool, let's watch Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 20 minutes in, everybody's out. We're like, cool, let's play some video games.
Yes.
We'll play some Madden. All right, cool.
All right, cool. Everybody's asleep. Everybody's
Play some Baldur's Gate.
No.
Champions?
So you had no expectations.
No,
going
no
in, so-
expectations at all.
But
But
the first time
there were pieces of this movie that I enjoyed.
yeah, I think the first time that I saw it, I was kind of in that, like, all right, man, I made it to the fucking end,
Yeah.
I have to see where it ends.
Gotcha.
And then you get it and you're like, it's just a little underwhelming, but you could tell because they had no fucking budget for it.
Right.
And the scope is still pretty big. And with a lot of the trickery and weird shit like that they had used, the camera techniques, they made it seem like it was bigger than it really was. Big matte paintings, things like that. But there's still a lot of inconsistencies that I can't get over. Like, how close were they to the fucking Forbidden Zone? You know what I mean?
Right.
Dead
Not
City.
far.
They couldn't have been that far.
3-day journey, they said, there and back, right?
So, yeah, and I'm trying to even think the blast radius of a fucking 10 megaton nuclear bomb, right?
Right.
So how big is the radius? Is the radius 3 days away? Probably
How long
not.
has it been? Since the bombing, do we know that?
I think it's like 27, because Nicodemus or whatever, Mandemus or...
Mandemus, yeah.
Yeah.
What a weird name.
Yeah, he says he's been there for 27 years. He's like,
Yeah.
this place has been my home for 27 years. So I'm thinking, okay, right? And then Virgil...
That's right.
Yeah, and Virgil also does say, he was my teacher growing up. So it's like Nandemus is the same age as Caesar. Aldo's still kind of like a teenager with all the rest of the gorillas that are still there, because you don't see old gorillas.
Well, wait. Yes, you're right. Keep going.
Yeah. And then the oldest chimps that you see, or the oldest apes that you see, are chimpanzees and orangutans. But the orangutans are the ones that seem to be the oldest. They act the oldest.
Right.
You know?
Right.
It's just the wisdom part of it. I don't know, but there are high council members, because when they were talking about time travel, traveling at the speed of light.
Mm-hmm.
There was a chimpanzee right there, with
Right.
him, and there was another. So it's like the intellectuals at this point are the ones that are kind of helping everything,
Right.
just broadening everybody's horizon. But they're still using rudimentary tools too, like a fucking chalkboard.
Yeah.
Ape will not kill ape. What?
So 1999. What happened in 1999?
The Hadron Super Collider.
No,
turned
not
on?
in real life. In this 1999 was that.
That was Conquest.
Conquest, right?
Yeah, Conquest.
So in Conquest, he would have been 26 years old because he was born in 1973.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Boom.
Okay.
So now we know that.
Okay.
And then he said that they'd been there. So hold on. So 26. And what year was?
And then it was 27 years after that Nicodemus had been, or Nandemus, or whatever. Fuck. It made that his home. So we can allow like a 3-year difference.
Okay.
I would think, right?
Sure.
A couple of years, something like that.
Okay.
So you could almost say 30 fucking years.
So he's
on
like
that.
56.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense at that
yeah.
point, and it makes sense that he would be a little bit wise enough to be ruling over everybody.
Right. Absolutely. I'll buy that. Okay.
Yeah, which he's the one that everybody runs to.
Yeah. You think you would have had some babies earlier than that?
Yeah, at least a couple more, but maybe it was the radiation. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
You can infer a lot of things to make it make sense.
Well, you can do anything you want with radiation in 1973 too.
Right.
Let's
Nobody
be
knows what
real.
it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, what?
Yeah. What's
the Incredible-
Chernobyl?
The Incredible Hulk comes? What?
Yeah.
All right.
Huh? No such thing
Everybody
as
turns
radiation
to
poisoning.
dust?
Yeah.
Okay.
Really fast. And they still drive cars from the 60s. That's weird. That's one thing that's kind of weird too, is you get to see a lot of burnt out cars in this movie,
Uh-huh.
but they never showed one car in Conquest. Not one.
Yeah.
It was all shot from down up
Yeah.
to give it that, I don't know, dead feeling, pretty
Yeah.
much, just like the concrete feeling,
Yep.
you get when you're in that environment.
I'll
But
buy that.
I was like, why do they have fucking cars and school buses and shit? They didn't use that before. Oh, didn't they have train? No. Yeah. But anyway, the blast radius thing gets me, because if it's 10 megatons, that's a pretty big fucking, maybe that's a Tsar Bomba. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
The
yeah.
fucking big one. Maybe that one might be 100 or some
Yeah, I
kilotons
think
or
that's.
some shit.
I think that's on the lower end.
Yeah.
10
Yeah, but if they're
18.
dropping it on all the major cities,
Right.
and like we were talking about on the last one, is like it's spread throughout the whole entire world.
Oh yeah.
So the world was destroyed.
I
There's
don't-
other factions of apes across the planet.
I did read. Yeah. Oh, 100%. There has to be.
Yeah.
And humans, you would think.
Right. Right.
And some weird mutated thing that's starting to happen now.
But they always land in California.
Well, of course. Yeah, that's where the movie studios are. What are you, crazy?
Right. And landed in Brazil, they're like, fucking, this is excellent. Love it.
Love it here. Fact.
Yes. Does it look like this is a horse run? Is that Charlie Manson over there? at The Fox Ranch? No, it's just there's so many, like I said, it was like there's so much shoehorned in that it was, you can infer a lot of things to make it make sense.
Of course.
Because like you said, nobody knows anything about radiation at this point. Enough.
But even with if 27 years, let's say that it was 20 years ago that it happened, like whatever.
Yeah.
I did like research at one time how long it takes to get past the nuclear winter, nuclear fallout, and it's really not as long as you think. It's a few years.
Yeah.
You know, so I could see them like they had farms.
Right.
They had ape farms.
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
But then all the irradiated people that are living in the city, they would be fucking dead.
Oh, all those people in the city would have been dead, yeah.
Yeah, they're living in...
Chances are.
Yeah,
I mean, there could have been some... Well, we did get a various... Who knows? Maybe they were underground.
Yeah.
Maybe they were busy, like...
Well, they call it the
working
underground
subway.
city. Yeah, they call it the underground
Well, I mean,
city.
maybe that's
Yeah.
where they were when it happened.
Well, the entrance to Ape Management?
Yeah.
Or the headquarters? That was the same one that they used in part 2.
Right.
But yet that was... It seemed like it was closer to, whatever... Radio City Music Hall and shit. But they call it the underground city. They do, to kind of give you that illusion that, this place was majorly huge underground. And then you had the upstairs stuff that was just kind of normal. That's where everybody lived. Right. Everybody operated everything underneath.
Right.
But even with that, right? And say they had, I would want to get the fuck out of there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have the number one extra of all time. Even saying, it beats, the hell of this radiation we've been living through down here.
Yeah.
I'm like, God damn, that dude better got $200 for the day. You fucking rules. There's some really good extras with one-liners that are like the ape is like, oh, he'll tell on us. You're like, whoa, that dude rules. It's why wouldn't you seek out? But then you got to take into account too, if the world was destroyed by bombs, right? You have nuclear reactors everywhere,
right,
in the world. Those are going to fucking explode because they're not going to be running.
Yeah.
They'll die. They'll whatever.
Right.
So you have that to live through. So even if you make it through an apocalypse, you're going to go through a fucking another one, or generations down the road are.
Yeah.
Where you can't even go like Chernobyl. How long has it been since Chernobyl's meltdown? It was 86?
Yeah,
something like that,
something
right?
like that, yeah.
So almost very parallel with this.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Was it 86?
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, I don't know.
I know it was in the 80s. It's just, but that's how I look at it. I'm like, no, there would be more pestilence and death and fucking all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
They wouldn't have lush green valleys, and I think it was just like, you could explain it with the mountains. Right. But then you add a couple of thousand years to it, to 3950 something, right? For Taylor, and everything is completely covered with dirt. It's like the death has encroached all the way, but Ape City is like the last bastion.
Yeah.
And was this the same Ape City? Was this where they originally, started?
Right.
There's so many things, there's so many things that you can throw in there. And that's why I like these these movies. You're just like, how would they do this? But I think I'd fucking want to leave. Dead City. And you're like, fuck this place, man. I mean, we got water. It's irradiated, but fuck it.
They weren't on horses. They walked, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And they were all sick.
Yeah.
Irradiated fucking nightmares. You know what I mean?
Right,
and
right.
even the one was like, he's like, I can't believe you fucking let them go, dipshit. And he's like, man, my dudes are sick. They're fast. They caught us by surprise.
Right.
So you have this, this populace, and especially Culp. That dude just wants to make friends, he wants some excitement.
Right,
He's like,
right.
fucking, I don't know if my forefathers were going to die of boredom like I am. This fucking sucks. And then he even does make a joke and makes himself laugh. He's like, well, at least we're alive. Going, whoa, dude. So, all right. That's where we're at. Ape City is 3 days away from where
You can look in the description. I'll have done the math on how far away that could be. That's what I was working on over here.
Okay. Well, see, so we start out basically with it looks exactly like Planet of the Apes, the first one. As far as, we have a ape or a gorilla on a horse and just riding through the same kind of valleys and shit like that we were used to from the first one.
Right.
and it turns out it's fucking Aldo, and Aldo is he's General Aldo. Call me by my proper rank. And Claude Akins comes in there and fucking rules it, right?
And it is Claude Akins.
Yeah. But you get the feeling that they have subjugated humans at this point in a shitty way. And even McDonald, McDonald too, basically is like, we eat nuts based on fucking what our masters give us.
Right.
Don't you fucking know? And he's like, history. And then Caesar at that point is like, ha, 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 ha.
Human history.
Human history. But no, you're fucking human history too, because we're bipedal. I don't know. Caesar doesn't really understand it until he sees his parents. Then he gets it.
What he doesn't realize, and what is it's not human nature.
Yes.
It's societal nature.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Is it right to kill? Is it right to kill danger, or evil? Right to kill evil?
Yeah.
Before it gets worse.
Right.
That's the dilemma with this one. Is it right? He didn't want to, because he knew it was gonna. Everybody knew it was gonna go that way. Aldo's like, I bet you, he's like 18. He's a fucking general, right? Because he fucking beat the shit out of everybody. And they're like, dude, man, this dude's fucking badass. Let's go after him. So he's probably leading that shit. He's got to be way younger than they are. Let's just say 30. So
I have a thing about this. The Aldo in this could have possibly been the same Aldo from the last one, the chimp that he goes by. I know it was a chimp and not a gorilla, but in the original storyboards, it was a gorilla. And that was like something they screwed up on,
right?
Making it a chimp. So it could have been the Aldo that he like talked to, like with his body language.
Yeah.
Well,
also too, it could be the Aldo that really was the original timeline.
Right.
To actually say no, because Cornelius mentions it.
Again, we can talk about that because I also think that. If we notice that the gorillas are kind of in charge of everything in the future we originally see, and history is written by the victors, my friend.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so maybe it was a gorilla.
Any way you want to go with that.
You could use it and say,
I don't think any of it disproves any of it. You know what I mean?
No. Yeah, but it makes sense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for a weird deal. Well, I mean, he's a fucking asshole, and he comes into the whole fucking place. And, riding his horse like a fucking,
like a fucking madman.
Yeah, no shit. Almost running over people. And then he's late for school is basically what it is.
Yeah, come to find out.
He's late for his daily lesson. Yeah. I heard the coughing.
But you were a professional. You just kept going.
I'm not going to stop.
No.
I can't stop my
it's
mouth.
Perfect. No, it's perfect.
So I mean, he comes in all bully-like and shit, and they're like, ape shall never kill ape, because they're in that weird deal. They're in school, but it's all generations of everybody. It's just people that are wanting to learn. So in 30 fucking years time, they have jumped, I don't know, 300 years in evolution.
Yeah.
Very fucking fast. They had the capability to talk and do everything back 30 years before, and they just now are still learning how to write and shit.
Right.
It's still 30 years. I mean, it's still quite a jump. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Still quite a fucking jump.
Well, you think about some of them are doing it just fine. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The older ones are the ones that are teaching, things like that. And then Aldo comes in, he's like, shall ape ever kill human? And they're like, no. No, not supposed to. And then he gets so fucking, because he's such an asshole and he can't write, and the teacher embarrasses him like a fucking little school kid.
But he starts off on the wrong foot, and you can kind of tell that he's a douche all the time anyways.
He's
so you can tell the teacher's just kind of fed up at this point, right?
Yeah, because he's like, you want to come up here and read this? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, you don't want to come up here because you can't or you won't. Whoa. So that's what makes me think he's kind of immature and younger. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, and all the other apes are like, yeah, you got him. And then, he brings up his paper, after Caesar's son does his, ape shall never kill Abe type deal.
Which is the teacher's name.
Yeah. And Aldo comes up there and he just fucking totally makes fun of him.
He just rips apart like your A is leaning over like a
tent in the wind.
Yeah, what?
And then Aldo's like, fuck your tent, bitch. For real. He rips up fucking all kinds of shit.
Everything, yeah. He just starts smashing shit.
Yeah, and as soon as he starts to rip it up, fucking teacher's like, no, Aldo, no. Instead of being like, motherfucker.
That's what you should have said.
But it just like fucking stops time.
Yeah. Everybody's just like...
And he says that negative imperative.
Yes.
In such a fucking crazy
Aldo
way.
was triggered.
Ooh, and
as was the whole society.
Virgil's walking by after all of that shit's gone down, right? And fucking he's like, whoa.
Yeah.
You can't say that, teacher. That was the one thing that our slave masters always told us.
That's right. And when Virgil shook, come on now.
Man, he almost used human words.
I know.
Because teacher fucking bolts.
Yeah.
Because Aldo fucking like...
He's going to kill him.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I love how they destroy the schoolhouse, and they're like jumping through the bamboo and shit. And then fucking totally wrecking the place. And then they chase him.
Yeah.
And they're going to go throw him in the corral, I guess. But he makes it to Caesar's house,
Yeah.
And Caesar's like, whoa. What the fuck, man? And so Aldo gets embarrassed, of course, and he's like, "Oh, we want to ride horses." Fuck you! And then he almost runs over him too.
I know.
He's on out of the way. And I'm like, "What the fuck?"
Right?
Yeah. So McDonald. That's when they kind of get into more of this. They're starting to look at least Caesar is with McDonald on how fucked up their whole little community is.
Right.
What needs to change?
Because they're not living in.
Right.
As equals.
Yeah,
in peace,
exactly. Yeah. They're subjugated to this, humans are subjugated to that slave labor, which is one thing that the apes had just got done with.
Right.
They shouldn't have been doing it.
They were just like flipping around.
Right.
Now you feeding me, bitch.
Yeah. These are my nuts, motherfucker.
Whose nuts is on whose chin now?
Yeah. Yeah. Do. But so I mean, it kind of there's a little levity, but you can see Caesar's kind of like, fucking, I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
But then him and McDonald come up with the plan to go visit the dead city.
Yeah, because McDonald tells him that there's like archive footage of his parents' interview.
Yeah,
with for the president's select president council.
Yeah,
the Escape movie,
the Presidential Committee.
Yeah,
from 1973.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why he brings it up is because Caesar's kind of like having his doubts.
Yeah, he's like, I wish I could talk to him.
Mm-hmm. I wish we could, do this stuff and work together.
He said maybe you could guide me or something like that.
Yeah, they're kind of... Caesar already wants the Humans Council, he wants the inclusion of everybody, but he doesn't know how to do it.
Well, doesn't he? I think he's talking about his dad at that point, right? He's
Yeah.
like, I wish you could talk to me and tell me.
Yeah, I wish I could talk to my dad,
Yeah,
and find out what...
Tell me where to go,
Right.
what to do.
And then he's like, why are you speaking in riddles? Why can't you tell me if they're not alive? I can't see them, but I can hear them. What the fuck, man? And he's like, no. There's an archive section. It's supposed to survive a 10 megaton warhead.
Right.
And that was the only thing that was supposed to survive in the whole city was the fucking archive section. Right. Makes sense.
Yeah.
So they have to kind of load up and get guns, right?
And that's when they go to...
Mandemus.
Yeah, Mandemus.
What is his name?
It's Mandemus. Isn't
Mandemus,
it?
yes.
Yeah.
And so they
it's
go.
The weirdest name.
Yeah, but I love the whole, asking the questions. And he's like, I've asked 6 questions with all sufficient answers, and my 7th is, he has to kind of get in there, and he's like, okay, so if the knowledge that you seek, because Virgil it's like, ooh, that's a good answer,
right?
He does right in the middle of it. It's not what we'll do with it. It's the person. It's not what you can do with it. It's what the person does with it, or some shit like
so
that.
Mandemus is the guard over the armory.
He's the conscience,
and he mentions that he guards it as the conscience of
Yeah.
Caesar.
So he asks the questions, and that is
even if Caesar was smart to put something like that in play.
Exactly.
And he must really trust this guy, right?
Exactly. It's like, you can be my conscience and you can talk me out of having to use this, having to go to this level.
That's right.
But having something like that is fucking amazing to think about. You have the capability, but you have to have a conscience to use it.
Right.
So it's like,
I think that's what our Senate and Congress are supposed to be.
technically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Technically.
There's a lot of inference with a lot of the way that we see the world is, you know what I mean? Through those movies. Because again, we're getting like, here you go, guys.
Yep.
Here's everything that's wrong with the world.
Yep.
But they finally get in there and he's like, can we have 3 pistols? But they're all totally cool together.
They got the 3 rifles,
yeah.
right?
Or machine guns.
Machine guns.
And they get the
And then he's
pistol.
like, goes to get the pistol, and he's like, why do you want the pistol? And he's like, well, maybe McDonald will need to hunt something and prepare it for us to eat or whatever.
Yeah, McDonald wants to hunt a rabbit and eat it. And he's like, oh, okay. Well,
why do you need 3 guns for that?
Yeah.
And he just
for
gives
more
him
knowledge,
one.
yeah, he's like, here you go. They had to get ammunition and fucking everything. But it's all cataloged. And that dude, I guess, never leaves, really.
Yeah,
He must have a toilet and fucking whatever in that place.
He does it all.
Yeah, because you can see him reading on the bed whenever they're knocking on the door.
Yeah.
So they get out and they do make it to Dead City. The Dead City.
The Dead City.
Because they go across.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, we don't get to see their whole journey, but we see them,
They
leaving.
They go through some sand.
Pretty much. It's like the beginnings of the Forbidden Zone.
Yeah.
That's the way I was looking at it.
I looked at it as such a joy that we didn't have to watch them walk through the sand for like 25 minutes.
Yeah,
Or whatever that was.
and
That's
you
how
have
long it seemed.
That one sound.
Oh, that was eerie.
You see the waveforms; they look
bet.
fucking awesome. So yeah, they make it over there, and McDonald is like, "Oh, conveniently, there's a door right here."
Yeah.
So they go down there, and he's like, "It's on the corner of Breck and something." He's like, "This used to be this, but you can tell they're underground. They're in the underground city."
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's how he's referencing the streets. But no. That's not all the room that they're going to have for major traffic going through there and shit.
Right.
So he knows where the archive section is because he was the brother of Home Dude. So he was in charge of that deal. So they get over there, and that's when we get to see the fucking mutants, the mutant zombie dudes. And, we get to see, what are they repairing the whole fucking time? They're like getting ready for something, but what?
The apes, I guess. I don't know.
They had no fucking idea that they were
knew
even coming.
something was coming.
They were just like, I'm so fucking bored. That's exactly what the main dude is like. They're fucking gonna die of fucking boredom.
Right.
And then she's like, K7. I'm like, God damn. So then they see him and they're like, whoa, we haven't seen anybody in a long time. Home dude's like, yes, I get to go talk to somebody. Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. That's fucking Caesar, right?
Shit.
To reclaim his fucking kingdom?
Right.
Why would he come back? You have the voice of reason, too. Mendez is like, no, just let him go.
Right.
They didn't harm us. They just came in here to get something. Just fucking leave them alone. And he's like, nope.
No, sir.
Later. I'm not coming back. So it's kind of weird. And you get to see the image. I don't know where the power is coming from. And that water had to have been so fucking irradiated.
Oh, I'm sure,
and disgusting that it like fucking melted them. But there's people living on the pipes. Again, this is your camera trickery.
Right.
To make it look more devastating and more evil than it really is. So, Virgil's a badass too.
Yeah.
He's like, the camera moved. And he's like, no, there. And he's fucking good at it too, right? He's a lefty shot.
Who even knew?
Yeah. He was just fucking awesome. But yeah, the whole time he's like, we can't stay here more than 2 hours because of the Rentgens.
Yeah, because he actually takes a
Geiger counter.
Geiger counter with him, which was smart.
Yeah,
And they know how to use a Geiger counter. Which
he
is
does.
Yeah.
Well, that's why they chose Virgil.
Yeah,
because they're like,
he knows everything.
Yeah, they're like,
that was even the comment.
Yeah.
Who knows about everything?
Yeah, McDonald. What does Caesar ask him? Do you know anybody in your camp that knows anything about radiation? He's like, nah. But we know somebody. And so that's why he got elected to come along.
Yeah.
And plus he is the conscience of that group.
Oh,
He is like the voice of reason and everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's not like a fucking slacker.
Right.
He's a badass.
Come to find out, yeah.
Right. And they're just running through this fucking water treatment plant, right? They finally get out and the two dudes after they follow him, because they're fucking pretty good at fucking throwing grenades and shooting and shit. They're like professional warriors at this point.
Right.
You know, they went through a war. You know,
It's fact.
and it's like, whoosh, boom, fucking blowing
They went
up
through
shit.
a conquest.
Yeah, they did. They went through everything with knives, machetes, and fucking
Machete.
machetes. You can have my lucky machete. So they have to. Basically, they come back and because Caesar, his whole entire goal with the whole deal is he wants to change.
Yeah.
After he sees them talking, he's like, "I know what to do. We don't know what he wants, but we have an idea." So they get back. And of course, Aldo's still a fucking prick. Because all he wants to do is like train and ride horses like they do in Planet of the Apes. And they just want to throw rocks at each other. And shit.
Yeah, if there wasn't such a year gap, you could actually believe that like Aldo just took over and that
Yes.
was right there. Boom.
Yeah. It's like, run this way. And they just throw nets on dudes. You know what I mean?
Everybody's in the corral. All you humans get the fuck in there.
Yeah. Here's a net.
And here's some nets. Let's ride a horse.
Let's ride a horse and try to get this dude in a net.
Yes.
That'd be fucking awesome.
They
Let's
do love
practice.
nets. The nets
Yeah,
work really well for them, actually.
all the way back to the beginning.
Yeah.
The ape council is convenient. Then they bring in the humans, and fucking Aldo is like, "Nope, I'm out." He gets out of there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can already tell the seeds of dissension have been sowed, and he's really basically, they know. But that's where Caesar is like, should I kill? Should I stop it before it starts?
Right.
And they don't even know that they've been followed either.
Right.
You know, I love it when the two apes kill the dude on the motorcycle doing like 2 miles an hour.
Yeah.
and then the one ape comes over there and he's like bragging. He's like, oh, you get to see the fucking movements. He's like,
Yes.
oh, I hit him in the face.
Got him with the knife right there.
And then they fucking blow him up. Just two fucking
Short-lived
apes.
victory. Boom.
So one dude dies and the other one gets away. He crawls away, right?
Mm-hmm.
The dude's wounded, like,
Yeah.
but he still beats the motorcycles in the fucking cars.
Well, those moving pretty slow, brother.
Dude, I don't know if they had governors on them. Well, there was a governor in one.
Oh, that's why.
It's
Why wasn't the bus moving fast?
But I think they...
No, he was on the Jeep, right?
Yeah. But
Why
I
wasn't
think...
the Jeep moving fast? It has a governor.
And a tank fucking explosion in the back.
What the hell was that all about? I couldn't figure that weapon out, and I don't know if that is actually something.
They probably just took a fucking...
They're like, it's a pole.
Oh, dude,
But,
that would
I mean,
one.
there are things that are mounted like that. I'm just not familiar with that specific
Yeah,
weapon.
because it's like a Willis Jeep.
They're really good with mortars. Come to find out.
Well, they have 4 of them.
I thought that's what that was on the back of the Jeep. At
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
Maybe
but-
it was, and it was just pointed forward. They're like, yeah, fuck it.
No, but they kind of show you the one car breaking down and the dude like working on it. So
Yeah.
you're like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
That's their way of saying
They
"Man,
don't
that's,
have good mechanics.
that's why they're so slow. If they've been there 30 years, they should have learned how to fucking make shit badass, right?
You gotta have one professor in the group, dude. Come
But
on.
they're like, oh, I'm so tired and irradiated, but I don't want to go outside.
gonna die anyway.
It's hell of a radiation, but there's a whole world outside. I don't want to go. But yeah, and of course, Caesar knows that they have to be prepared. Everybody knows they have to be prepared. And then that's when, Caesar's he goes back home to see Lisa.
Right.
He's like, yo, shit's about to go down, I don't know what to do. And the little boy runs away for Ricky, his fucking, his squirrel.
His pet squirrel.
He's
But
like,
I mean,
"Ricky."
at least we were prefaced that there was a pet squirrel earlier on when he says twice about needing stuff for his squirrel.
Yeah.
I was doing something with my squirrel. I need some nuts for my squirrel.
Yes.
Squirrel,
Yeah.
squirrel.
Yeah.
Don't you love that
Foreshadow,
squirrel?
foreshadow. Squirrel, foreshadow. Oh, the squirrel went away. It paid off.
Yeah. And he encounters a group of apes led by Aldo,
Talking about getting guns.
talking about getting some guns. Guns equal power. And, yeah.
It does.
So,
He's chasing Ricky.
he's not
right?
wrong.
Yeah, and then he jumps into their tree with his fucking pajamas on.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
not
as you
trying to
do.
blend in. You know what I mean? I mean, he's
Yeah,
jumping
why
from
do you
tree
have to
to
get
tree.
that close?
Right. Well, because
Just
he's
shut up and listen, brother. You could have been a tree over.
reach out with your feelings.
Ears of the wolf, 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 wolf.
And then, I mean, Aldo's like, crush, kill, eat. And they're like, yeah.
And he
yeah.
says, and then we kill Caesar. And everybody's like, oh, shit.
yeah, yeah, they did. They fucking stopped.
They're like, oh.
Ooh, should we tell him?
That guy just said the N word.
Whoa. And then the one dude looks up in the tree. He's like, whoa, it's Caesar's son.
Yeah. And he just overheard everything.
He just heard everything we said. And then Aldo, fucking dumbass, right? They're like little kids. That's why I think they're little kids.
Well, I think that, yeah, he's like maybe a teenager, you know, or whatever. Could be. Because I assume that apes, I don't know what their, like, growth pattern is, but I got to assume that it's shorter than ours.
Yeah.
You know
Oh,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
From,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
kid to adult.
Maybe 2 times.
I have no idea. No
Yeah,
idea.
I don't even know.
I'm,
Yeah.
I'm not an ape guy, come to find out.
Yeah, me neither.
Some friend tried to set me up with a girl who ran an ape thing in a zoo, a metropolitan zoo somewhere. And I couldn't do it, dude. It was weird. I was like, oh.
And you know,
oh,
she's
cool.
She was over there like, oh, another one gone. Because of my job.
It wasn't because of her job. That's awesome. You do you. I was like, whoa. I'm gonna not do that.
Later. No, so
Has to go. That was a weird story. A little weird tangent. I don't
Weird
know why.
tangent.
Yeah, sorry, brother.
an hour and 20 minutes. No, so
You're still hanging with the show.
Yes.
You can hang on about 10 minutes longer. It's
yeah,
fine.
thanks, guys. So he basically chops off the branch that the home dude was standing on.
Yeah, yeah.
The dead one.
It
You
was
know?
weird too. Like, and then boy, you knew that was the one right away. Like,
Yeah.
you're like, oh, that's the branch he's going to fall off of. I didn't know he was going to have to come up and cut it. I thought he was just going to step on it and fall to his doom.
Yeah. But they have to be what, 30 feet, 40 feet,
yeah.
somewhere like that.
Yeah, it was pretty tall trees.
Yeah, and they were up there pretty good.
Yeah.
So he falls down.
Yep.
Because he cuts the fucking branch. They get down and they're looking at him like, oh, what do you want to do about it? I don't know what to fucking
And then
do
the
about
mom
it.
shows up because she's like,
Hey, where are you?
Cornelius,
Where are you now? How did you get out of the house? You know?
you little monkey.
And then there's a fire fucking burning there.
Yeah.
She finds him and it's only like 30 feet away from their house, too.
Yeah. But McDonald has to figure all that out tomorrow because
Yeah.
nobody else could figure that out.
Yeah, because the next day, fucking after, the nurse is like, I don't think he's gonna make it. He fell down hard, knocked the breath out of himself, broke his back.
Yeah.
And that was, before he was like, "Am I ever gonna grow up, Dad? You're gonna be as tall as a king one day, my son."
Yep.
No,
I'm lying to you, but I know it makes you feel better, and you can go in peace now.
but he is a king,
And he does.
he's his little king.
He's his little dead king.
My tuckered out little king.
He's permanently tuckered out.
Oh, that's the one thing you don't do with fucking apes. Ape shall not kill ape.
No, that's true. That's true. That's the thing.
And that was the ultimate sin. And that starts that huge fucking, because 3 days later, guess who shows up?
Yep.
It's probably actually 5 days because they were going so fucking slow.
Aldo's smart in some ways because he's like, did they follow you?
Mm-hmm.
And
Immediately.
they're like, not that we noticed, but they weren't checking.
No. See, they could have worked together.
Yes.
And just been like,
Had
yo,
Aldo
send
been-
some people out. I'm going to stay here and kind of collect everything. But they were so fresh in all of their leadership roles.
Right. It's only been 30 years.
Yeah, right. But I mean, it's
But really, that's a very short amount of time.
no, it's a huge.
And I'm sure a lot of things have happened over that time to get it to where it's at.
And maybe they are the very first upper leadership.
Yeah, yeah.
At 30 years, the other upper leadership was just Caesar. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
And then
like,
and then he's like, "Hey, I'm going to start turning over some shit to people.
yeah.
Here's the
So I have a
council.
kid now.
Yeah, yeah. Here's the council." But yeah, no. So he's like, he takes off.
Yeah.
And we don't really get to see him until he fucking ambushes them, fucking kills everybody. But yeah, they get into that fucking fight, the firefight. Again, budget constraints.
Sure.
You didn't really get to see a lot, but they tried to make it look really big.
Yeah, yeah. They used some of the same shots in different directions.
When they do the long shots, you're like, oh man, there's only like 12 people out there. It sucks. Man, you want it to be bigger.
Right,
you know?
sure.
And then if you watch this in the original aspect ratio too, which for some reason the copy I have is not in it.
Okay.
It is fucking magnificent because it is a full 2-something anamorphic. I mean, it's fucking massive. So you have a huge picture to look at, but very focused. So it's just really, I don't know why I mentioned it, but that was part, that was the reason why I was mentioning it, because watching it on DVD, I'm like, holy shit, there was so much going on, but nothing was really there.
Right.
Because they tried to make it. And if you could go back on some of these and like, because this is the movie that the return of the ape feet, because they lost them in the last one. This one, they have their 8 feet back. You know what I mean? They got the bigger feet.
Yeah.
So.
Which they should have had. They should have maintained throughout.
Right. And I think everybody had A masks. You know what I mean? Or, yeah, letter A masks, the first ones, because they didn't really need that many for everybody. And the process was pretty fast. But then they have to bring back the original clothes.
Right.
It's kind of weird. But yeah, they try to make it so big, and they only have like one real explosion, which they had like 4 different scenes around it, probably being filmed. They're like, all right, we got one chance here, guys.
One shot, one opportunity.
Yes, you film over here, run your ass over there. Fucking get another shot, run your ass over there. And then you'll get to see all these different aspects. Fucking shit, you got to make magic.
Yeah. Some magic's better than others.
Right. But they eventually think that because they do a smoke screen.
Yeah, that was pretty smart. They did a smoke screen. Guys couldn't see through it, and they kept moving forward. More smoke screen. And then they're like, oh, okay, I guess we can't see through it. I would have built a giant fan. No, I'm just kidding.
Or just come from the sides.
Yeah, exactly.
Go around the smoke.
There is no reason for you to attack head on anyways. That's ridiculous. Even if you're defending.
They could do the Seven Samurai shit.
Yeah.
To where they just fucking open a little gate, let a few in, and then fucking whack them all, and fucking close the gate.
Yep.
Wait for another one to come up, fucking open the gate, let him go through, kill him again.
Right.
It's fucking badass.
Except they had like bombs and missiles and stuff.
But
when they blow up the whole area, and like when he's telling them to retreat and all that, right? When he's finally like, Caesar's like, we got to get out of here. I don't think they played their hand out front, about what the turn was going to be here. Like, because then we just see the town explode, the whole encampment explode. Because
there was we didn't get to see a planning from them.
Right.
From either side. It was just like, there you go.
Yeah, we just hear him talking about the smoke screen earlier, but there's nothing on the ape side.
No.
So there's apes strewn across everywhere in the encampment.
Yes. They're all putting on some sort of a show, but still dying, But I think the plan to ambush them too in the town square or wherever it was that was obviously set up kind of like on the fly, I think.
Yeah.
And I think that was the military part of Caesar, in some way that it kind of comes back. Smart. Yeah, because he was still he was like, you know what? We draw them in, then we're going to take them out. Because we're close quarters, we can kick the shit out of them just the way we are. We don't need weapons.
Yeah,
because
they're
long.
Better off close quarters.
Yeah, because their long weapons are the ones that are really fucking destroying shit. So,
right.
God damn, that's deep for a Planet of the Apes movie.
Their strategy.
Yeah, this is their strategy. I'm putting a lot into something that was probably never there. They're just like, okay, we got a battle scene. How are we going to do it? Just have them do this.
Well, I love it when the governor and his boys come down there, and he's like, of course, it's Caesar right in the middle.
Yeah.
And
he's the bait.
Yeah, and he's like,
Every Caesar has to have his Brutus.
Yes.
Oh, really?
But even
Took us 5 movies to get there.
yes, no. And then he gives that fucking rousing, now fight like apes.
Yes.
And all
They
it
all
is
jump up and
Yeah.
we weren't hurt the whole time.
there's a few gorillas in there.
Yeah, yeah.
And they kick the shit out of everybody. And the dude's like, get on the fucking bus. Apes coming. So they fucking finally, they ship them out, right? They're all leaving. And then, of course, fucking Virgil comes up and he's about to fucking fire on him in the school bus. And he's like, no, let him live. So then he goes back. And then all of a sudden you see fucking Aldo and his fucking Western gang come down on the fucking horses and just fucking massacre them.
Yeah.
They break all the windows, throwing grenades, fucking just stick their fucking guns in there. God damn.
Wholesale murder, son.
But Caesar
Primal.
and Caesar, but that's something that it was like, that was planned too. At first you think it's almost kind of like
They're leaving.
Aldo doing some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like going against Caesar. But no, it's part of the plan.
Right.
So they work together on that part because Caesar didn't show any remorse after they all get killed in there.
Right.
If it was going to be an accident and Aldo was going to do something against him, that would have been the point where he'd be like, wait a minute, motherfucker. I told you to let him live. But then it goes back to that, should you destroy evil before it has a chance to take root?
Right.
So they're letting him go, even though he gave the illusion that he was letting him go by being like, Virgil, don't shoot him. Let him go.
Yeah.
They're going to do their own thing, and then Aldo comes out.
Yeah.
I think it was all part of it.
Yeah.
I look at it like that.
Yeah.
'Cause
Could be. Very well could be.
Because even when Aldo...
That or Aldo's a bitch.
Yeah, because he comes back and he's like,
Kinda bitch either way.
yeah, I'm taking over now, bitch. And then they get into their...
Yeah, they're like at the pins, right?
Yeah, stare down.
Yeah, and he's like, let him out of there. And he's like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Kill them all.
Yeah, because they started before the battle at the pins, because they had rounded up all the humans, threw everybody in there. And Caesar came over there and was like, yo, you need to let these people out. And then they kind of basically had the battle. Then they're back over there again.
Right.
And Aldo's like, fucking kill them all.
Yeah. He's like, what?
Yeah, and he stands in front. And Caesar is continually using himself as a sacrifice
That's
for
right.
almost everything.
right.
He's putting him in front of everything.
Yep.
You know what I mean? He's like, if you're going to shoot, you got to shoot through me.
Yep.
And I'm fucking Caesar. You know, I'm the one that fucking brought us here. You
That's
know what
right.
I mean? Respect. And even the gorillas are like, ugh, and finally, whenever they get into the whole hypnotic ape shall not kill ape, kind of like crescendo shit.
Right.
He chases him up the fucking tree.
Well, yeah, because, what got him there was the guy said, the one ape said something.
Virgil does mention something too. He's like, but what about an ape child? And that's when Aldo's like, well,
Yeah, even before that, though, doesn't one of his apes, one of the gorillas, says something about him killing...
ape shall not kill ape.
Yeah.
Something like that.
That starts all that.
Yeah, yeah,
It
it kinda
it was one of Aldo's guys.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think. Yeah.
And then Virgil's like, yo, guess what? You kill. He basically like fucking throws it out there.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna fucking bring it up. I don't care what anybody
Right,
says.
right.
I'm gonna bring it up right fucking now.
Now's the time.
This is like a fucking Andy Cohen, like Desperate Housewife shit. He's like, no, this is what you said. And they're like, bam.
Yeah.
So basically, he's like, you killed my fucking son? Because right before the battle, too, they're watching, Cornelius die. They're kind of going through that. Virgil's in there, and he's like, I don't know what to say. He's like, you have a whole village of people out here, human and ape alike, that need your help, too. And he's like, I'm not leaving my kid. That's when Aldo takes over.
Yeah.
Right? But then even after that, you have, because Aldo does martial law after that, right?
Right.
So, Virgil's going back and forth, but he even mentioned something about, God, he's like, I think you already know who it is. Because he's like, because his son says something like,
well, doesn't
they
McDonald
hurt
tell,
me.
who does McDonald tell about the...
Virgil.
Virgil. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Virgil knows from McDonald that the branch was cut because McDonald found the cut branch the day after, but
Yes, exactly.
Because
Exactly.
he's the
And
world's greatest detective.
but but
Not
yeah,
really. He's just a guy, and it
He's
makes
just
sense.
like, I see the broken brand. It looks like it's cut.
Yep.
There's a fire here. Ooh, it's still warm. No, but the way he kind of, the way he brings it up, and then Caesar just like fucking, like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
he killed my son. It's like he has that same, whenever Cornelius dies, he has the same reaction as whenever what's his nuts, Ricardo Montalban. When he died, remember, it was kind of like that disbelief that Roddy McDowell does. He's like, oh,
Yeah.
kind of like stops everything for a second and kind of looks, and he does that one thing that he does. And he's like, oh, holy shit.
Right.
You know, and that's a signature move for him, for me.
That's right.
That's what I
They call that the McDowell, yeah.
Yes. That's the McDowell.
Oh, yeah.
No, we're the golden, what is it? McDowell. We don't have a McDouble. We have a McDowell with cheese. The golden, it's not the golden arches, it's the golden something. But anyway.
Yes.
So honestly, Caesar going through all of that, Virgil telling him, I think you know who it is, you know?
Right.
But he doesn't, we don't really, and that's way before the battle and everything like that.
Right.
But then he still has to get kind of told at that point. And whenever he goes after fucking Aldo, it's just like an intimidation type of a thing.
Yeah.
But he intimidates him in a way that it starts with the crowd.
Yep.
You know, Lisa's fucking freaking out. Yeah,
Lisa looked like she could have killed him.
she could have.
Yeah.
You know, I think any one of them probably could have. Even the apes that are standing on the side and they pull their swords. They're like, "Shring!" You're like, holy shit. Watch out for those dudes, the elite guard.
Right.
But yeah, so he chases him up the tree and he just fucking, it's not even like one punch.
No.
Aldo tries to fucking knife him.
Yep.
And then he grabs his arm, and then of course Aldo
Falls to his death.
eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth.
Yep.
You kill evil.
A very
before.
Old Testament of you.
Right. And you kill evil. But then you get to figure, well, then you get the understanding of what he wanted to do and change. You know, he wants, you know, human and ape to not make the same mistake that his forefathers had made.
Right.
You know, in whatever, you know, thing that he believed, because it was 3950 something. Because he even asked McDonald too. He's like, 3950, this is fucking so far away, dude. Like, we don't have to worry about it. And he's like, no, but there's certain things that can change before this even comes to a head. So basically, that's where I'm thinking.
He tangents off and makes a different timeline, if you will.
Right.
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
maybe the original was Aldo and not the ape from the two kids.
So
right?
Caesar is what changed that.
Caesar is
you're
what
saying.
changed it. Yeah.
It made a divergent timeline.
Right.
Wow.
Exactly. See, that's where I was just like, holy fuck.
I am so blessed to have read comic books when I was a child. I can follow this no problem.
Yes. So easy. It makes sense though.
No, it does.
No. But you are right. How fucking outlandish and crazy that might be to think. I don't know if they even really thought that. How would they?
Who
have
knows?
At that point?
Yeah, they're
if
just
they
like, we
did,
got to make this movie. And
well, even Mendez mentioned something before they leave the dead city. Mm-hmm. Mendez looks at him and he's like, they didn't harm us. We didn't do this. And, you know, him and the woman stay, right? The first undergrounders.
yeah.
The telepaths. So basically, he's like, how long must we do this? A kills B.
Yeah.
B
yeah.
kills C. C kills D. E kills A.
Yep.
It's just, and he basically, and I've been trying to wrap my brain around that one too, because I only watched it like twice. You know, I kind of rewound it and I paid attention to it that twice, you know, and I need to write it down, but that's exactly, I think he's exactly describing the timeline.
Right. Sure.
And then for Caesar to divert that.
Well, even in history, I mean,
Yeah.
that's how it's been. Like,
Right,
if you
right.
look through, you know.
Right. So maybe in this one, the humans did live their irradiated lives without having to fucking worry about the apes.
Right.
Maybe they lived in harmony at that point. You know what I mean?
Best irradiated lives.
Yes. But you got 2670 to 39 something. Right. So that's where shit could have taken a turn too. You know, it could have been like this to begin with, and this was always going to happen. So it is a circle.
Right.
But in that time period is what we don't know. We get in the middle because we get the 2670, you know?
Right.
And then we're in 2030. Yeah, 2030. You know what I mean? So it's like, God damn, they fucking lived a long time for that part. And then that in between, so that's original timeline.
Right.
So it's fucked up.
We're irradiated, but at least we're active.
Yes, that's exactly what he says. And he's like, it like gives him a chuckle.
It gave me a chuckle. I was like, that's terrible. I love
Yes, I love it. But that's another reason why I think these movies, if you look at them and you put in the time to think about that shit, you're
Sure.
like, wow.
Well, I think you could do a lot of different timeline theories with it. But I think that what made the most sense to me was that it came out as a different timeline altogether.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. And
Now,
basically,
could it still had thousands of or 1,000 years at least, right?
yeah,
To get to
almost 2,000 years.
yeah, almost 2,000 years to get to where we started from
Mm-hmm.
in the future.
2,000
You know what I mean?
fucking years.
So
You're gonna,
anything could have happened.
yeah, and you can
Anything could
can see how the desert has encroached, and the dead city is under more.
Right.
You know, more dirt, sand. It's grown into the limestone. You know, you don't see
Yeah.
the cars half sitting out.
Right.
So those different layers that they were showing that Cornelius was originally looking at, it's making sense.
Yeah.
See, but that's what's so fucking cool because you can look at all of that shit.
Yeah.
You're like, damn.
I don't necessarily dislike the idea of this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the story was fine. You know what I mean? That's fine.
They didn't have a full movie.
No,
They didn't.
they didn't have a full movie, and they didn't have a budget, and it was a lot of
They had built all of the relationships that we needed for the entire everything.
yeah.
I'm gonna Avengers Endgame it right here.
Yeah, right.
Because it's the fucking truth. you invested so much time into these characters, and for what 4 years, 5 years,
5 years,
yeah.
yeah.
So it's 68 to 73.
Yeah.
So basically, if you were a fan of that shit, you went and saw it every fucking time. And like I was saying at the beginning,
For
you
6
kinda,
years.
Is it 6?
Yeah.
And then you kind of, it's like it slows down a little bit, but there's still those diehard fans and the people that are like, oh shit, where the fuck did this go? You know, because people were going ape.
Oh, I was extremely excited. Like, I got much more out of this watching these movies than I expected.
Right.
I'm going to be completely honest because my expectations were very low. I knew that I liked the first one.
Yeah.
I knew that I had seen parts of a lot of the other ones, but not really sat down and watched a bunch of them.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because I had a buddy who, you know, he watched them, and I'd watch like 30 minutes of one and be like, I got shit to do. You know? But, yeah, so I didn't have high expectations, but I've really enjoyed, like, most of the movies. Like, this one I did not enjoy. I think it did more for the conversation after. Like, it left it in places where you could have a conversation about timelines, things like that with someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I like that portion of it.
Do you think it was intended?
I have to think so, or why would we have the lawgiver telling the story at all?
Right.
But obviously a lot of things change from the lawgiver's time with crying Jesus
Yeah.
apes.
Caesar wept.
Yeah, and Caesar wept.
Caesar wept.
To get to the other timeline, right? Where, or like, even if it was in the straight
Right.
line time, like, none of that could matter, you know? I
Yeah.
mean, again, you know, history is what
Yeah, and I
it's
love
told by the victor, so who knows?
Yeah, and it's cool because it has the fucking the clues and all the inconsistencies
Right.
that I didn't think they planned on, and then you could build upon
I don't
the
think-
inconsistent. You know what I mean?
No, I think you're right. I think that there's probably parts of it where they're like, okay, we got to get it to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, like in this, it's a different. Caesar changed time.
Mm-hmm.
Now humans and apes live happily ever after. Caesar wept. Everything was great, right? But the inconsistencies that they didn't
Take into
intend
account. Yeah.
are the ones that help you get to all kinds of different places.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
And
And it's
actually,
not necessarily a bad thing.
No, and
You
it
know?
makes sense whenever you can
Yeah.
put some things and put things into context on
Yeah.
that part of it. And another reason, kind of where I'm at with these movies and this series is just, it's such a broad idea that could fucking be fantastic in the right hands.
Right. I do like the last scene of as they're letting people out.
Yeah.
And McDonald's like, no.
Yeah.
Like, he's like,
We're going to be equal from now
yeah.
on.
Like, we're not doing this anymore.
Yeah. And then Virgil even has the last word on that too.
Mm-hmm.
And because Caesar's still pissed off,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's like, you know what?
Adrenaline's a-going.
Yeah, and he's like kind of like, I don't know if I should, I'm doing this, and he kind of talks about that evil part again, and then he says something to the effect of, ape shall never kill ape too. And they're like, you see the humans
And
in
you
the
saw,
pen.
yeah.
They see that moment. They're like, it looks like they just joined the human race.
Yeah.
It's like, I get it.
Yep.
See, McDonald was already ahead of it, you know, and they did have to make him an African American, and
I think that was great, actually. And I think
it was huge.
I enjoyed him as a character, actually.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. No, they make him. I mean, just like McDonald in Conquest too.
yeah.
I mean, it was like, hey, history.
Yeah.
I think I know a little bit about
They had
this.
to have that.
Yeah.
Especially if they were going to tie them together.
Right. So now I'm kind of like, I wonder how, everything's going to see in between,
Right.
the next 150, 200 years, love to see the way it kind of progressed.
Yeah.
Or you just go back to the original.
Well, I think what it does is it leaves it open for people to come up with their own story ideas. And, if they're good and you can get it to the right person, you can canonize it, and
Right,
make it part of everything. And there could be a rebirth of these movies every 20 years like there is anyways.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it hits, like,
Yeah.
the Andy Serkis,
Those are
James Franco.
Yeah,
all
always
those people.
good.
Those are great. And then sometimes they don't, like the Mark Wahlberg one.
But you have different technologies too.
Yeah.
I still think.
Well, I think you're always pushing, right?
Yeah.
It's like for a movie like that, you're really probably pushing technology, to make it the best it could possibly be.
Yeah, and that's why I was thinking about George Lucas and that shit. You know what I mean? Going in and fixing some inconsistencies. Like throwing a fucking robot in the scene where they're like fucking getting interrogated. It's just like a robot's like, like, where did Max Rebo come from? But like fixing the little things, like the smudge, the audio, the fucking, I don't know, in the
Adding Force ghosts.
yes, yeah, the ghost of Cornelius. So yes, son, having a hologram, that makes sense.
If it was like Cornelius, Taylor,
and
Zira,
yeah, they're all right there,
yeah,
and they're all telling their story.
they're all ghosty. They're like
Yes.
big thumbs up.
Yup, nup. Ba-na-ba-na-da.
That's how this should have ended.
Ram-dam-coca-ba-tica-ba-dum-ka-dee-da.
Years ahead of its time.
No shit, right? And 20th Century Fox at this time was killing it.
Yeah.
Little did they know they were about to get hit with the fucking Disney train.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For real. They hit it majorly big. But the amount of world building and shit that they did with 20th Century Fox at this point to go to 77 and build Star Wars, the ultimate.
Yeah.
It's like they were fucking meant for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Then you have and that's the shitty part is Planet of the Apes could be, it could have been our fucking, Return of the Jedis and shit.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure. If we were old.
Yes. No, but I'm saying like it could have been, imagine everything you know about Star Wars, merchandising, this and that. Imagine if it was Planet of the Apes.
Right.
Holy shit.
It's a lot of apes.
That is. It was just fucking a shitload of apes.
So, do you remember a long time ago? Because they had a Planet of the Apes movie or TV show, right? We talked a little bit about that.
Mhm.
And do you remember they had a Geico caveman TV show?
Yeah.
I would like to see that crossover. Thank you. That is all.
The Cro-Magnon dude. I'm like, huh? It's so easy a caveman can do it. Thank you, Geico.
I can't believe they had their own TV show.
No shit.
Yeah.
For like what, 2 or 3 episodes, right?
I have no idea.
Yes, it was something like that.
I don't know. But that would be great. Or like a Perfect Strangers.
Ooh.
And it's like Cornelius 3. And he's going to live with Taylor's grandson.
Balky Bartakovich.
Well, I think he's the Balky Bartok.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so
Taylor's
Taylor's son, who is
he's from the sticks.
well adjusted, I guess. I don't know.
He's like Borat.
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
Okay.
Wait a minute though. Balky
Uh-huh.
is Borat?
Okay.
He's from another country that has no fucking idea what's going on. And then Borat is from a country that has no idea what's fucking going on.
Okay.
The inspiration has revealed itself.
It has.
Holy shit, Sacha Baron Cohen totally took it from fucking
Balky, yeah.
Balky Bartakovich. Hey, cousin Larry. The dude looked just like fucking Larry from the Three Stooges too.
That's right.
You can't beat it. But if they were apes, oh,
Even better.
but if it was a dude that looked like Larry, right? Because he's on, what is he on? She-Hulk. That's her dad.
Oh,
yeah. If he was on it, looking like he does, you know, in the 80s with the, you know, the big balding hair, you know, or just make him look bald. Waterfall curls and shit. Damn. That'd be fucking cool as shit.
There you go.
And yes, Battle for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. I would give it a 3.
Out of 10?
No, that's too rough.
Ooh. I mean, it deserves
Maybe
it.
a 4 out of 10, 4.5. I liked part of the storytelling, like the story that was there. Okay, no, I didn't. I liked the pieces that I put together with it. You know what I mean?
No, it's more interesting.
I don't know if that's how it works, but yeah, it was definitely the least of them. It was the 5th ranking out of these 5 movies by far.
Right.
It's the bottom of the barrel.
Right. My personal favorite one is Conquest. And then, really, I mean, for me, I think Escape ranks a little bit higher.
I think Escape's my number 1
on like,
for me.
See, I think that one's a tie for the worst with
Really?
Battle. Yeah.
Really?
Battle and Escape.
Escape is so different. I could see that.
Yeah.
But I think that's what caused you to have some movies.
Yeah,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? If it wasn't for that plot twist and the way.
Yeah.
And I think that part of it too was like the death scenes for Cornelius and Zero were pretty brutal, dude.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you think about like that.
They get shot.
Like in what, like blood bursts out of his chest, you know? Like
Yeah, the one thing that you always see, and they make it a point in all of the ads and everything that they do, trailers, is showing that Cornelius scream, like
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever.
That's
They
called
show-
the Roddy, yeah.
Yeah, the Roddy scream.
You have the Roddy and you have the McDowell.
But they show that over and
Yeah,
over
yeah.
and over and over again, and I'm like, that's not the most important, you know?
No, and I think that how could my favorite one not be the one that had a seesaw at a party? I mean,
Fuck.
come on.
You got me on that one.
I would say I don't know if I put that above the original one. I really like the first one, like
Right.
enough that I'd watched it multiple times before we ever did this. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I don't know why. I just never had any desire to learn anything. I'm like, that's gonna take brain cells.
Well, you know, I was destroying my brain cells when I was really watching this shit, and just like, whoa, oh, I got to consume more, you know, for real. Like, I dove into it in a weird fucking way.
Yeah.
Which it's, I guess, 2001 or something like that.
Okay.
It's been like a year in 8-bill.
Okay.
You know, I made models. I fucking. I was like probably a hair away from fan fiction.
Well, I won't say I've gone that far on this journey by any means, but I appreciate that. But I tell you, I think that it was good because I think that there was a lot of good movies I wouldn't have seen,
Yeah.
or at least a good and a good little universe, little pocket universe that I can peer in on. You know,
Yeah, this is a beginning of everything that we know about franchises and shit.
Yeah, for
now.
sure.
I mean, they had James Bond, they had all that shit. But for something that was
For a
science
fiction one, for sure.
So you had Star Wars and then you have the Apes, you know, in kind of succession.
Yeah.
You know,
well, yeah, opposite. Apes and Star Wars.
No. Well, no, Star Trek in the 60s.
You said Star Wars.
Did I?
I think so. It doesn't matter. Or
Yeah,
I heard
yeah,
Star
yeah.
Wars. Doesn't matter.
Star Trek, right? In
yes.
the 60s.
Yes.
Twilight Zone and all that shit was going on, and then fucking the Apes, and then you got Star Wars. So it was like they were sandwiched in between, so they kind of got overshadowed.
So Star Trek was really just TV show and cartoon in the 60s, right? No
Up to
movies up until the 80s.
Yeah, it was
1980,
79, something like that, yeah. For
So-
the first one.
So it was a
motion
TV show, it was cartoon.
Yeah.
I would say this is the first movie franchise.
Yeah.
Science fiction movie franchise that I can think of.
It is. No, it is. No, it's got to be. Yeah. I've never really even thought about that.
I just now did. I can't think of anything that was before that.
Yeah.
You know, that was.
I know
don't get
there
me wrong,
is,
like in the
yeah.
50s, you had Lost in Space, but again, that's just a TV
Those are TV
show.
shows. Yeah, they weren't the actual fucking on-screen,
Right.
you know, epics like this. And this was a fucking planet beneath, escape.
This is like
Conquest.
the CCR
Yes.
of movies,
Yeah.
of science fiction movies.
They
You
came
think
out about
it.
the same time.
You think about it, like in success in 6 years.
Oh, shit. Imagine if you did one record per movie as a soundtrack on that shit. It's all and there's Bad Moon Rising in the middle of Escape. You're like, holy fuck. That'd be an awesome fucking.
Oh, yeah.
That would be some George Lucas and shit right there.
It's weird that those years do kind of match up.
Yes, I know. That just fucking.
I just broke my brain.
Yeah, I think I peed a little.
Well, I think with that, fellas, and ladies, and whoever listens, listener, that one guy,
Hey, dude, what's up?
what's up, brother? That's probably it for the 8 movies, right?
Yeah, for a very long time.
For a while, yeah. For a while.
I'd probably say a couple of years.
I don't know. We might throw out the TV show review.
yeah.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I'm ready to jump into Wahlberg or.
Kind of down for what we were talking about.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Anyways,
stay tuned.
with that, yeah, if you guys have anything you want to tell us about these movies that we didn't talk about, let us know.
Yeah.
Or if you just have an opinion about these movies, or if you just think you have an opinion about us, who cares? We don't care. Just say something.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
You got all kinds of places where you can do that. Where can they do that, Brock?
Dropculture.com, Twitter. Is Twitter still a thing too?
X.
X.
X
Oh.
gonna give it to you.
I think we're even on Reddit.
Yes, we're on Reddit. We're not on Threads,
No.
but we are on Facebook and Instagram.
Yes. Barely on either one of those.
Well, we're on there.
You can leave a review.
If you said something, we might see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Suggest a movie. I want to see
Yeah.
if anybody listens. and
Or a
wants to
TV
suggest-
show,
Yeah.
or a cartoon, or a book.
Let's
I
just
don't care.
Yeah, let's see if anybody legitimately listens.
Yes.
Thank you. And
The
with-
numbers say yes.
Yes. The numbers don't lie.
The hips don't lie.
Well, goddamn, Shakira. The hips don't lie. All right, later, dudes.
Whatever.